Hello, I'm Stephanie Walker. I am currently a sixth grade special ed teacher. And for the last 5 years before that, I taught high school special ed. Um, a lot of the things that I'll speak about. A lot of the things I'll speak about today can be used in every grade level throughout special ed. You can adapt it to yourself. And that's the great thing about Google, that it's for everyone. First, I'm going to talk about how to get started, things that you kind of need to run from. The most important I've found is to have your browsing system be Google Chrome. That can be easily downloaded, and it works on all devices. I've had a Mac and a Chromebook. I work on a desktop, a Microsoft desktop at school, and I also have an iPad. So it does work on all technologies. The next thing is, if you aren't familiar with Google Drive or Files or just the inner workings of Google, I would suggest you watch some YouTube videos on it. Because what I'm going to talk to you about today is if you kind of already know Google, and I'm going to go from there. So one of the perks of teaching with one-to-one technology is not having to use paper, and pretty much everything I grade can be brought home with one device. I don't have millions of papers to tag around. I don't have a heavy bag that I have to bring home every night, and I don't have to worry about losing students' papers. When I used to teach high school, I used Google Classroom a lot more than I have been at the sixth grade level. And some of the perks of Google Classroom are that it keeps you organized. Everything is in one place. You can set assignments to push out on each day or reminders to go. You can set a date and a time for things to go out. Every student is given their own copy of the assignment. So it like instantly will go into a folder named from the class or the unit, and go straight into their drive. So they can't lose it, and it's always there. Another great thing about Google just in general is that things can't be deleted. You can see time history of when they were opened or when they were worked on or when they were deleted, and you have the power to restore the history on the assignment. So really, it was a great tool at the high school level. They couldn't lose their papers, and they couldn't say, oh, I did that, but I left it at home, because I could say, you haven't worked on it since Tuesday, according to Google. So it's a great tool. Another one, so going along with Google Classroom, before you can set up Google Classroom and have your assignments, you need everything into a Google document. There are now, like when I first started out, you had to take everything from Word and put it on Google, cut and paste, or kind of format things, and it was a big struggle. Now you can just upload a Word document and convert it to a Google Doc. So it's real easy to take files from your folders and get them straight into a Google Doc that can't go away, can't actually accidentally be deleted. And if it is, it can be restored. I did that this summer. All my files deleted, but was able to get them restored. Another great tool that I used, and I use this a lot in my biology class, was forms. Forms can be used for surveys, tests, quizzes. I created units on them. So it had like the textbook, the vocab, and it had a section for each article to be turned in or linked to a activity we're going to do or a video. So it was all in one document. And a lot of times I would number or date days of the week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So if a student was absent, they knew they needed to go see what we did on Tuesday and submit whatever was there, or come see me if they needed to. Another great thing with forms is you can progress monitor. And that's the number one thing I'm using for this year, is to progress monitor. So each student has their own form with a date, their goals listed, in a box for narrative, or a box to upload a link to a worksheet or student work sample, test score, or you can just write a blurb that is with their goal. And the great thing is you pick which goal it is, then you write that, and then it saves it. And at the end, when you're done collecting data, say for first trimester that we're coming to the end of, you export it to an Excel document, and then you can make graphs or presentations, or you can upload the exact Excel sheet to their progress monitoring, or easily find all that data to input to the system on that one Excel spreadsheet. And you're not looking a file here and a notebook here, and you're wanting to do progress monitoring at home, but all your stuff is at school. So it kind of just makes it really easy and accessible. Another great thing that I use Forms for is attendance. Students check in every day if they're tardy here. If they're not here, of course, we mark them absent. And then at the end of the month, we have a chart of how many students were here and what percentage was absent or tardy. And, we can set goals to work on maybe tardies or getting to school more often, and they track it in their student data folder. Another thing that I use Forms for a lot, teacher comments. That it can be set up as a question, and they can check boxes, or they can use, and then at the end, it puts it into like percentage of teachers that say that this particular accommodation would work, or how they're doing on certain things or grades. And then that's the information that I use to put into their IEP. And it's also what we talk about at the annual review conference. Another great tool that Google has is slides, and it's just like PowerPoint, colorful links. You can embed videos. It can be used in a lot of different ways, not just for presentations. We do vocab on it, and then they have like option 1 and option 2. And this, you can send out the slide just like you do docs on Google Classroom, and it makes a copy of that slide for everyone right into a folder. And then they can, when they're completed with it, they can upload it back to Google Classroom, their finished slide, and everyone has their own slide. And it's really great for like closed notes, because you can have that template out to everyone, and then they just fill in. Each student has one that they fill in, and then they submit it. It can be collaborative. You can add people from maybe your department or grade level, or students can share and work on a project together. It really cuts down on paper pencil. Not that you want to go completely move away from paper pencil, but it is a nice alternative to use one-to-one technology as a learning tool, and not just a computer in the room. That it really can be used as a tool. Another great thing, I use this when I coach too, is the Google Calendar. I've used it in my 6th graders. They have a homework slip on their calendar. You can attach links, docs, forms. So if you have parent-teacher conferences and you want parents to sign up for a specific date and time, you can put a link on the calendar, that you share with parents. It's really easy to share. It's really easy to organize. And you can make it colored coded, and have files for your calendar as well. So Google Education is just a wealth of information, and I've probably learned majority of the stuff that I've gathered from YouTube, watching Alice Keeler, or following on Twitter. Just watching as much as you can. Thanks for viewing.